as the helicopters fly overhead. This is a big day for Kendi and a big day for Trump, for both of them, for different reasons that I'll try to cover here as quickly as I possibly can. The first thing that we need to look at is from Truth Social. President Donald J. Trump just posted this morning. Well, okay, today. He says crooked Joe Biden does not want RFK Jr. in the debates because Jr. is far left him, and they would be debating over the same territory, like ridiculous open borders and the Green New Scam, both of which, sorry, both of which are killing our country. He's also sharper and far more intelligent than Joe, all making for a bad combination of ingredients. I don't care if Junior joins the debate, but right now his polling numbers are very low. He is not properly qualified in the states, and he seems to be on a downward path. Junior needs more than his name to get on the stage. There is a lot here that I would disagree with President Donald J. Trump on. And just starting from the very top. I would say if we were to look at, and we can look at RFK Jr.'s views on the border. Let's start there. RFK Jr.'s views on the border are very similar to President Donald J. Trump. Very similar. So I don't know where Trump is getting all of that from. So there we go. Oh, look at that. It looks pretty nice. So I don't understand that part of what Trump is saying because RFK Jr. has said on the border that he was wrong and that Donald J. Trump was right. So RFK Jr. understands who got it right on the border. It was President Donald J. Trump. RFK Jr. agrees with Trump on the border wall. So I don't know why Trump is saying that. Trump is a very smart dude. He has to know this. He's got to know that this is legit. Legit. All right. The other thing, the new green scam, this is another talking point that Trump needs to just let go of because there is a difference between real environmentalism and the Green New Scam. RFK Jr., when he talks about environmentalism, he's a real environmentalist. He's the environmentalist that we all want, that we all need, not the Green New Scam deal. When RFK Jr. and his vice presidential candidate talk about but talk about green, right? Whatever you want to say is green. Talk about that stuff. They are not talking about the Green New Scam. When they talk about our environment, they're talking about what is really happening with the environment, the toxins that are being leveled into our environment that are hurting our children, that are hurting people, the mercury that is being put into our environment. Those are the things that RFK Jr. is talking about, not the Green New Scam deal. So I don't see RFK Jr. as part of this Green New Scam thing that Trump obviously wants to focus on. Now, Trump does say that RFK Jr. is sharper and far more intelligent than Joe Biden. I don't think there's any disagreement with that. All making for a bad combination of ingredients. Well, it's a good combination if we want to have a good debate between two intelligent, common sense people, which would be RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump. That's what the country wants. That's what the country needs. We want a real debate between two viable presidential candidates who can win and who can make this country great again. Now, we know that RFK Jr. can do that. We know that President Donald J. Trump can do that too. And all we're asking for, all we are saying, is let's get a good debate between these two people and let's have them hash it out. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, right? Let me just grab one of these other backgrounds here. All right. So, again, going back to this here, let's see what else. Now, he says, I don't care if Junior joins the debate. Now, here's the problem there is that RFK Jr., before any of this happened, RFK Jr. challenged Donald Trump to a debate at the Libertarian Party convention, which is happening next week, I guess, with the May 24th, May 25th. So RFK Jr.'s challenge here is now getting overshadowed by this debate, this at least 2 debates, possibly 3 between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. And again, they're trying to keep Kennedy out of this debate, which does not make sense. Kennedy is the one. I'm not interested in seeing Joe Biden in any debate here. I watched in 2020. I watched when Joe Biden said that he won those debates. Joe Biden did not win those debates. Donald Trump handily won those debates hands down. I have no question, no doubt at all. Everything that Donald Trump said during the 2020 debates was accurate, was factual. What Joe Biden said was just a bunch of garbage. That's just my view on it. So, continuing on with what Donald J. Trump posted earlier today, he is saying that RFK Jr.'s poll numbers are very low, which I don't believe either. But he is not properly qualified in the states, which I also don't believe either. We're going to talk about that. RFK Jr. is on 15 states right now. We are in May of 2024. We're not even close to the deadline, to the cutoff, where RFK Jr. could qualify for all 50 states. It does look like every day that we wake up, we see RFK Jr. is that much closer to getting on the ballot in all 50 states. It's going to happen. Whether you like it or whether you don't like it, it's the best thing going today. And if you're a WCW wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Be prepared. So how long? And this is another interesting thing of why Biden and Trump, they're accepting this debate so early right now, knowing that a lot of this is before Kennedy will even get a chance to be on the ballot in all 50 states. All strategy. This is chess. It's a big chessboard game here. But what Trump is saying here, I mean, a lot of this I disagree with here. A lot of it I disagree with here. I don't believe that RFK Jr.'s poll numbers are very low. I don't believe that RFK Jr. is not properly qualified in the states. And it definitely, who is going to say, how are you going to prove that RFK Jr. is on a downward spiral? That he seems to be on a downward path. That is absolutely ridiculous. RFK Jr. climbs and is climbing and is climbing. He is not falling. He is climbing to the top to get his name on those ballots in all 50 states and and Washington D.C. too. But he is also climbing in his popularity, and that is the big threat. That is the big threat here. So while Donald J. Trump does not see Biden as a threat, which nobody should, nobody would, right? The only threat is voter fraud. That's it when it comes to Joe Biden. The real threat, Donald Trump's real threat, is RFK Jr. because RFK Jr. is the one who can debate Trump and can beat him in a debate. No one has ever beaten Donald J. Trump in a debate, in my opinion. Definitely not Biden. And if Biden really thinks that he beat Trump in 2 debates in 2020. That's ridiculous. Absolutely impossible from my view. Let's see. Junior needs more than his name to get on the stage. So this is a typical tactic of President Donald J. Trump to go after his political opponents. This is the moment that I have been waiting for, where he's gonna really go after Kennedy. But he does say a few good things, a few nice things about RFK Jr. there too, which is nice. It's nice to hear that, but no mention of the Libertarian Party convention that RFK Jr. has challenged President Trump to a debate there, which is going to happen before June. It's going to happen in May. That's the debate people want to see. Let's have that one in May, and here in like another week or so, another 10 days. We'll see. It does not sound like Trump is even focused on that. His focus is on Joe Biden. And if Trump believes, like we all believed, that Trump handily beat Joe Biden in 2020, why is his focus still on Joe Biden? His focus needs to be on RFK Jr. That's my view on it. Okay, so that is what Trump posted today. It's a good post. It's a good post, I would say. Hope you all check that out. But this all is about the debate. Who's debating who? Who will debate? Who will accept this debate? And how do we get RFK Jr. to be a part of these debates? So that's what I want to jump to now, because when we look at, okay, what are the stipulations of the debate between President Trump and Joe Biden that they have agreed to? This is what we're going to talk about here. All right, so let me go ahead and switch over to this. And let's go through this a little bit. May 15th, 2024. Dear Commission and Presidential Debates. This is from the Biden-Harris team. President Joe Biden believes the interests of the American people are best served by presidential debates that offer timely and relevant information to help inform voters before they make their choices, and that allow a head-to-head comparison of the two candidates with a chance of winning the election. So they're already taking RFK Jr. out of the equation. Now, this is the same Biden administration that made sure to host something where all of the Kennedys were there. I think it was the St. Patrick's Day thing where they had the Kennedys there. And of course, they wanted to make it a big deal and act like RFK Jr. was the black sheep of the Kennedy family. Oh, these guys are the black sheep. The ones who are working for the Biden administration, the Kennedys who are working for the Biden administration to most of this great country, they are the black sheep, not RFK Jr. RFK Jr. is the real Kennedy. These 5 or 6 Kennedy family members that are working for Joe Biden are the black sheep. These are people who nobody's taking seriously. Their career, their future is in the old school. It is in the past. It is the past time. We are looking at a new era of the Kennedys. And really, we're looking at, like we talked about previously, to get the job done, to finish the job that President John F. Kennedy started, to finish the job that RFK Sr. continued. This is a trilogy. The trilogy is happening right now with RFK Jr. 2024, and he can defeat Joe Biden. There's no doubt. And that's why the Biden administration is throwing everything out there. They are trying to act like RFK Jr. doesn't exist. And I understand why Trump does that too, especially after a couple weeks ago. Excuse me, I'm battling really bad cold here, where President Trump was basically saying he had no idea who RFK Jr. was, right? After all of the stuff that has been documented, my good friend Catherine, who just helped me with my first chapter of my book, everything that she read, everything that she helped me with is all about Kennedy and Trump going back and forth. All the nice things that President Trump had said about RFK Jr. Trump knows everything about RFK Jr. Trump knows more about RFK Jr. than probably a lot of us do. He's had private conversations with him. RFK Jr. has flown on President Trump's private plane way back when, right? RFK Jr. has sued President Trump before he was President Trump and beat him. These guys have a storied history, and the Kennedy and the Trump family is an interesting story in and of itself. And there's very little that I was able to document, 20 pages or so. But there's a lot more of that story to be told by them, not by me, but by them. So when Donald Trump says that he has no idea who Kennedy is, obviously everybody chuckles and laughs because we know what that means. We know the game that Trump is playing. And we know, obviously, that that means at some point, Trump is recognizing Kennedy could be a real threat here. Or it could be a person that would actually be on the same level as Trump on the same stage. And that's what I think is going to happen here. You get Kennedy on that debate stage next to President Trump, however it happens, whenever it happens, and it's a big deal. We've seen Trump battle Joe Biden, right? So all of the people who think Biden won, they're going to continue to think Biden won. All the people like me who think Trump won, I'm going to believe Trump is going to win in that too. When you throw in RFK Jr., now it's a different battle now. We have a third party candidate. We have another party candidate. We have another great American who can debate with these two guys, stand toe to toe with them, and win. That's what I see. What's up, Rick? How are you, my friend? Good to see you. Nice chatting with you. Hope you're doing well out there in the Maple Leaf Garden State. Cheers to you. So, in the next few months, in June, July, August, September, October, November, hopefully we will see some debates between President Trump and Joe Biden. It sounds like there are at least two that we're going to see. There may be three. But what about RFK Jr.? And remember, it's crazy because RFK Jr. challenged Donald Trump before any of these debates were made public, before Biden agreed. RFK Jr. challenges Donald J. Trump to a debate next week at the Libertarian National Convention. And all of a sudden, the Biden administration lays out a bunch of their ground rules, which I'm going to cover here, Rick. You're going to see how crazy these ground rules. This is funny stuff here. These ground rules that they cover to say what the Biden administration will agree with. So let me go back to that because it's really crazy. And Trump has the t-shirt. He had the t-shirt, anybody, anywhere, anytime. Well, okay. Well, that means RFK Jr. That means RFK Jr. because RFK Jr. is a viable candidate. His poll numbers are not low. He is rising. He is getting he is getting ballot access in more states all of the time. RFK Jr.'s ballot access is not declining, it is increasing. Based on that, RFK Jr. should qualify. And according to what he's going to say, he does qualify to participate in these debates between Joe Biden and Donald J. Trump. And he makes a strong argument. And if Donald J. Trump and Joe Biden do not want him to participate in these debates, that's going to tell us something very, very big. Now, whether they agree to it later or not is a whole nother thing. But we have about 10 days here when the Libertarian National Convention happens, and RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump are in the same place within the same 2 days here. The same 2 days, right? I believe RFK Jr. is going to be there on May 25th, and Donald J. Trump is going to be the guest speaker on May 26th. One of them can change those dates so that we can have this debate that the American people want. And maybe the whole world wants. Can you imagine how many people would want to see that? How many people have been wanting to see, all of us wrestling fans, we wanted to see Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair. Yeah, they were part of two different companies. Hulk Hogan was WWF. Ric Flair was NWA. We wanted to see the dream match. That can happen in just a little over 10 days, possibly. All it takes is for Donald Trump to agree to it. It's all it takes. Now, remember, it's not just Donald Trump. It's got to be handled in a certain way. But if Donald Trump is so adamant and he's so quick to accept a challenge against Joe Biden, why isn't he so quick to accept a challenge against RFK Jr.? What is this double standard? And I don't want to accuse Donald J. Trump of a double standard until we see what happens in the next couple of days. Because like I said, they're both going to be at the Libertarian Party convention within a day. And this debate can happen. This is the debate that people want. And they have a good moderator. It'll be a libertarian moderator. And it'll be an independent moderator. This is what the people want. So we'll see what happens with that. And when I show you here, when I go back and I continue on with what I wanted to show here, to show what the Biden administration, what their rules are and their ground rules are for all this stuff. This is the same old thing. This is why people don't get involved in politics. Everything the Biden administration is doing is exactly why people stray away from politics. They don't want any part of it because they are excluded from it. And that includes one of the Biden administration's first requests is they don't want any people in the audience. They don't want any audience. Go back and look at every presidential debate before now. Where are the presidential debates where there were no people in the audience? What are they scared of? Well, we know what they're scared of. Biden wants a mute button. Go through all that. But the real debate, the real fight here is RFK Jr. and Donald J. Trump. That's the real fight. That's what the people want. That's what the people deserve. That's what I think, anyways. So I'm going to go back to that. Rick says he is not, and sorry, I'm going to work on my ums. He is not so quick to accept because that's how they are playing everyone, keep everyone wondering. Smart guy. Can't disagree with that. Okay, so let's go back to this. This is from the Biden administration again. These are their demands. Dear Commission on Presidential Debates, President Joe Biden believes the interests of the American people are best served by presidential debates that offer timely and relevant information to help inform voters before they make their choices. And that will allow a head-to-head comparison of the two candidates. So Biden administration, they only want the two parties, the two candidates with the chance of winning the election. To that end, President Biden recently said he intends to debate former President Donald Trump in 2024 and intends to debate him twice. So even though it would usually be 3 times, what happened in 2020, because President Trump got COVID, they only debated twice. I think a lot of people are already saying, we don't even know if Biden will debate twice. It looks like he may just debate once. We'll see. So the intention, he intends to debate President Trump twice. Now, Vice President Harris also plans to debate her eventual opponent. For his part, Donald Trump has announced that he is prepared to have these debates anytime, anywhere. Now, the purpose of this letter is to provide notice that the president will not be participating in the Commission of Presidential Debates, announced debates in 2024. Wow. And plans to participate in debates hosted by news organizations. Interesting. So this is a letter to the Commission on Presidential Debates letting them know, F you. F you. And this is where, as a strategy, Trump and Kennedy could come in and say, well, maybe Biden doesn't want to participate in these debates, but I will. This is a big FU by the Biden administration. This just this is exactly what the American people don't want. The American people do not want all of this garbage that we were saying. Okay. So there are a number of reasons why the years-long presidential commission model for these debates is out of step with changes in the structure of our elections and the interest of voters. The reasons for this include, first, the commission's schedule has debates that begin after the American people have a chance to cast their early vote and doesn't conclude until after tens of millions of Americans will have already voted. The commission's failure yet again to schedule debates that will be meaningful to all voters, not just those who cast their ballots in late fall or on election day, underscores the serious limitations of its outdated approach. Wow. The Biden administration is putting the smackdown on the presidential commissions. Now, here's the big one. Second, the commission's model of building huge spectacles with large audience at great expense simply isn't necessary or conductive to good debates. The debate should be conducted for the benefit of the American voters, which would mean that you would want huge spectacles with large audience. But that's not what the Biden administration wants. The debate should be conducted for the benefit of the American voters who they don't want in the audience, watching on television and at home, not as entertainment for an in-person audience with raucous and disruptive partisans and donors who consume valuable debate time with noisy spectacles of approval or jeering. Wow. As was the case with the original televised debates in 1960. Wow. A television studio with just the candidates and moderators is better, more cost-efficient way to proceed. Focus solely on the interest of voters. Third, the commission includes rules that candidates were called upon to follow, and yet it was unable and unwilling to enforce the rules in the 2020 debates. The result was far from, indeed, entirely inconsistent with the orderly and informative process the voters deserved in 2020 and should be able to expect in 2024. This is important because when you have Biden who says that he won both the debates in 2020, but yet is making these stipulations to say they don't want to include people in the audience because of what the audience may do, doesn't that show that the audience in 2020 sided with Donald J. Trump and not with Biden? If the audience had sided with Biden during the 2020 debates, would the Biden administration be worried about all of this stuff? Would they be worried about the audience cheers or jeers? No. Would they be worried about the in-person audience with raucous and disruptive partisans and donors who consume valuable debate time with noisy spectacles of approval or jeering? No, of course not. They understand. This to me shows that they clearly understand that they lost in 2020. This is more proof that they lost the debate in 2020 against President Trump. That's why they want to make all of these rules that counter what happened in 2020. If they agreed with everything that, if they agree that they won in 2020, why would they care? This is what losers do. This is what they do. Um, Rick says Biden wants warm milk and cookies, not a debate. Well, that's all he's going to get. That's all he's going to get when he's sent home and kicked out of the White House. And when he hears the words, "You're fired," on November 5th, maybe November 6th. Unless there are shenanigans, which could always happen. We will see. But this letter is pretty interesting. This is a big FU to the commissions on presidential debates from the Biden-Harris administration. And I'm curious to see how the commission on presidential debates responds. If this will change their mind about maybe including RFK Jr. Maybe they'll invite RFK Jr. and invite Trump and invite Biden, and whoever shows up, cool, show up. Whoever doesn't. This is a big, big deal by the Biden-Harris administration. These are terrorists wanting their demands to be met. But really, this is a letter saying, we're not participating with you, and here's why. This is crazy. That's some crazy stuff. I'm really shocked about that. Who do you honestly think will win? President Trump. I truly believe President Trump, if it's a fair fight, if it's a fair election, President Trump wins in 2024 just like he won in 2020, just like he won in 2016. And we have another FDR case here, but a little bit different. But that's who I think will win, will be President Donald J. Trump. He will be back in office if it is a fair run. If there's shenanigans, the big difference between 2020 and 2024 is this guy right here, RFK Jr. He changes the game. Now, I want to see RFK Jr. win in 2028 and in 2032. And I have no doubt that RFK Jr. can do that. He can win. And honestly, he could win in 2024. I don't want to see that. But if anybody can beat Donald J. Trump, it ain't Joe Biden. It will be RFK Jr. And so that's what I see here. And I'm hoping that will happen. We will see. So
that's where I've told you my vote's going to be this whole time, right? I haven't swayed from it.
No, you've been, yeah.
Yeah, Trump had some damage done. Not so much with all the BS court stuff, which is just a big show, but with his pick for vice president. I don't know if you've seen the part of it where she freaking shot her dog because it was worthless. It was in her new book.
Who
she has out? I believe it's Trump's vice president pick. I forgot her name.
Well, he doesn't have a VP pick. Can you check your audio? I think I'm echoing.
Okay. Hang on 1 second.
I'm going to go to this here. Rick also, yeah, I got to get rid of those ums. I don't know why. I think I just do that because I just am so used with radio with no dead air. Can't have dead air. I can still hear it.
Settings.
Okay, check your settings.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, why don't you want him to win?
We should be good now.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Why don't you want him to win in 2024? Why don't I want RFK?
Him or RFK? Anyone but Biden.
I think RFK Jr. I mean, I think President Trump is the best choice for 2024. He's got to finish the job that he started. He got screwed in 2020. That's what I think.
Man, he incited so many erections.
Yeah.
It was indecent.
If RFK Jr. wins, I have no issue with that. No issue if RFK Jr. wins in 2020.
Yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I mean, we have two very viable choices right now versus one retarded choice.
Yeah.
Just I'm voting for them because I don't like them. That's your only reason for voting
Right.
for this person. You have no.
And yeah, and the people deserve better. This is a tough country. This is the greatest country ever, I believe, on God's green earth ever
The BRICS
created.
nations though are coming together, and at one time the Roman Empire was the greatest too, and they got distracted by the games and all the other craziness.
It's Trump.
Barbarians came charging in,
Nothing lasts forever except Jesus Christ. That's the only thing that will last forever.
but
So
Trump and RFK certainly are for the types of patriotic values that many of us still have it within us that
yeah,
haven't been destroyed by the New World Order.
yeah, it's the biggest threat. I think it's the biggest threat here. So RFK Jr. is saying a lot of the same things that Trump is saying. I think that's his biggest problem. That's why the Democrat Party didn't want him a part of them, because they don't want to be associated with that. They were all anti-Trump. They got TDS, right? Trump derangement
Mm-hmm.
syndrome. They don't want to be associated with anything. Whereas you have RFK Jr., who is a real man who will, and even Trump doesn't do this. RFK Jr., unlike Donald Trump, will say that I was wrong. When have you ever heard Donald Trump say that he was wrong? We've heard RFK Jr. say that he was wrong on the wall. That's a big deal, because that's one of the most divisive issues in this country right now, in this country, and really across this whole world. And the border issue has been a big issue, because you have to protect your borders or you don't have a country. The New World Order wants no borders because they want a global world order. They can't have that if every country has borders. RFK Jr. came in here and said that he was wrong, that Trump got it right. That's the type of president that I want. That's why I like this. That's another reason why I like RFK Jr. But everything that RFK Jr. has done for our environment, to protect our fish from the mercury, to protect these, just everything that he has done, everything that he did in 2020 when Eric was standing up against the whole vaccine things, and I was kind of on the other side of it, actually. And Eric Spitfire Wilkinson was actually going out to these protests when they wanted to keep people home. He was going out there, and so he was
I was
on
still working through it.
yeah, yeah.
We just had a key. Let people in and out. No masks were allowed.
No masks were
The hell
allowed,
out of
right?
here. People with
Right.
masks would have turned us in.
Yeah.
You have the spies out there, like, are they going in there without masks? Actually work out.
See, I don't.
They must be prosecuted.
They must
Full
be
suspended
prosecuted.
law.
You're right.
Spreading that COVID.
But Eric, when you went out there to the Capitol and you were driving out there and
Oh
you
yeah, that
saw,
was a Whitmer. That was that was Whitmer.
yeah, yeah, and you saw all those people out there, that must have been awesome. That must have
It
been great.
was. What was very interesting about that day was that it was pretty cold. I think it was November in Michigan, if I remember correctly. It was like maybe, I don't know, high 40s, bearable. And as the protest marched on, I'm not saying that they have weather manipulation type of weapons,
But they had weather
but I kind of
manipulation
am.
type of
Anyway,
weapons.
yeah. So just this big storm moved in. It turned to like 25 degrees within a half hour. It was wild, man. It was raining and there was freaking sleet out of nowhere, but could have just been a coincidence. Wasn't forecast anywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
On
but
our
that
way
was
down there, because we kept checking the forecast and it went from that 49, 50 to freaking 25 and
how
sleet.
many people? How many people do you think were out there that day?
Oh, there was thousands. I would say a couple thousand were there, and it was about the lockdowns, and we were
Mhm.
right.
Yep, that's right.
And
That's
if we
right.
don't continue to do that type of stuff, not like the BLM or Antifa stuff where they actually burn stuff down and loot it, but
Right.
stand up and peacefully protest. That's what it's all about
Yep.
for the right reasons.
for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Um, Rick is asking, was RFK against the wall at one time? Yeah, yeah. He said that he was against the wall. He was more, he thought basically that a lot of things that Trump was saying were wrong, that they were not happening. And then when he went to the border, it was the same thing when RFK Jr.'s vice presidential pick went to the border, that they realized the rapes that were happening, that they realized the human trafficking, and they realized that the border was a big issue, because if you're just letting anybody into the border, you don't have a country, you don't have um, the security to say, well, okay, why should people get groped by the TSA when I want to board a plane, right? If I'm a terrorist, then all of a sudden I can't have this, I can't have that. I need to take off my shoes because I may have a bomb in there. But at the same time, when they are treating US citizens like terrorists, they are just letting the terrorists in through the southern border. And that's what I think that Kennedy saw, and Kennedy interviewed the people. There's a great documentary that he did. It's about 20 minutes long. And it covers that. It really covers his view on that. But even before he did that, he realized that, yeah, he was wrong on the border issue. Trump got it right. He said we don't need a border, because you know how Trump likes to over exaggerate a little bit, and sometimes he does that just for show. I get that. If you don't understand Trump's humor, if you don't understand his sarcasm, you may not get that. But if you understand that, you can see some of the things Trump says, he is over exaggerating, he's doing for dramatic effect. But he has said we need 500 more miles, we need to build more, and they were going to. But what RFK Jr. has said is that you don't need to build a wall across the whole southern border. You need it in certain areas, and you need to have certain drones, you need to have certain things put in place. And RFK Jr. said that Trump already had. So it isn't like Trump didn't have it. He had these things and they were working.
It was
And
common sense type
it was
stuff.
common sense. And then the
Right.
Biden administration comes in and they take those things out. That was, I think, when RFK Jr.'s turning point was. And I think that's when a lot of the Democrat turning point was. And I really believe, like we saw the Civil War with the Republican Party in 2016, and really in 2012, maybe in 2008 with Ron Paul. The Republican revolution within their own party may have started then. We are seeing something similar happen with the Democratic Party. You could compare the Ron Paul movement, to the RFK Jr. movement here, and you can see how they are taking these things and saying, we don't care about the two parties. We're not about the two parties. And even RFK Jr. will say that his dad and his uncle were not just loyal to their two parties. They were loyal to this country.
Isn't
That's
the most obvious thing to a lot of us out here would be, why didn't these two get together? Was it by design? You know, if you want to go far down the rabbit hole, conspiracy theorist, was it by design? Because these two share a lot of the same values, and it would seem like it'd be a no brainer to put these two together. How could you
well,
beat both of them? One of them is said to be a spoiler in this whole thing, but putting Trump and RFK Jr. together.
I'm all in.
I mean, right? Most people would
All
be.
in.
That's why it's interesting that they're not.
Yep,
That
because they can't have that. Yeah, they can't have it because they want us to think it's two wings of the same ugly bird, so that way we don't vote, so we don't get involved. So we believe, because they've beaten us down for so long, that we have no hope. Voting does not matter. Don't even participate. Don't even care about it. They want us so beat down. They want to rape us in the freaking ass that we don't even show up to vote.
That's
That's what
true.
they want. They just don't even show up. Don't participate. You are not welcome. That is what these terrorists are. That is what these globalists, the New World Order, that is what they are telling the common American voter who just wants to show up and cast their vote. We just want to show up and vote, and yeah, let's choose who may the best
I
man
have
win.
I think it's like a minute clip queued up of President Trump saying this, because Biden sure as hell ain't my president.
You're not riding with Biden, huh?
riding with Biden. My God, I mean, just think about how silly that sounds, man. Riding with Biden.
Every time the radical left Democrats, Marxists, communists, and fascists indict me, I consider it a great badge of honor. Great badge of honor. Because I'm being indicted for you. And never forget, our enemies want to take away my freedom because I will never let them take away your freedom. That's what this is all about. They want to silence me because I will never let them silence you. And in the end, they're not after me, they're after you. I just happen to be standing in the way. Okay? Yeah.
I think I need that hat.
Did you see the speech that he did in Dayton, Ohio?
If you want to defeat the radical left Democrats, you first have to get out. You have to vote and vote for Bernie Moreno.
And that goes right along with what you were just saying, brother. That they just want people not to even bother.
Don't even show up. There's no reason. It's all the same and blah blah blah. You look at these protesters, and they're just like, it's all that they want you to do. It's all about non-compliant. Don't comply. Don't do this. Don't do that. They're more forceful than what our Constitution says. And our Constitution says, hey, you have these rights. You have these rights. They can't take these rights away from you. And so the only way that they can take them away from us is if we let them. And these people want us to comply with the non-compliance. It's just a crazy scenario that we have here. And when you add RFK Jr.,
not us,
but
no sir.
When you have these two great candidates, just these two great, I mean, if just research Donald Trump. If you have read Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, if you have read RFK Jr.'s book on Fauci, just listen to what they're saying, read what they are saying. These are two intelligent people who have some really good things to say. Donald Trump is a self-made man. He hosted WrestleMania 4 and WrestleMania 5 back to back. No one else has ever done that in the history of WrestleMania. That's awesome. RFK Jr. has done some amazing things for this country, and I'm just it's an unprecedented time. It's an awesome time. I've made sure that I have no strikes going in because I want to cover the debates that are going to happen in June. There may be another one that happens in September, in October. So I'm trying to keep this channel clean, Eric, to make sure that I don't get any strikes.
I have become very talented in the art of switching words around because my station hasn't gotten a strike in a long time either.
Nothing you said.
It'll screw up any of the AI algorithms whatsoever as long as you switch the Handy Sook all day. Latamanza all day. You can't say it the right way though, or you'll get hit.
Just please be careful about the videos you play. That's all I'm saying. Because those
you mean the ones so Saturday Night Live? No.
Saturday Night Live, no Tom and Jerry for some reason.
Up till 29 seconds actually is how long you can play them, but
whatever. I mean, like I said, I only have one strike, so I got.
Isn't that interesting though? How that works?
It's stupid. It's really dumb,
right? But going into these elections is very important to keep your station alive. This is, in my opinion, what it would be like if RFK and Trump got together. This would be them doing the debates. You'd have Biden there. Could you imagine? It blows my mind. It just makes so much sense.
Arguing with a liberal.
Kevin Bacon wasn't in Footloose.
What? Of course he was.
No, he wasn't. You lose.
course he was. He was the star.
Nope, you're wrong. Look it up.
I don't have to look it up. It's common knowledge.
Nope.
He was on the
Nope.
cover of People magazine when the movie. Everyone knows Kevin Bacon was a star of Footloose. It was a huge movie. He was the lead.
That is.
That's-
Hey, do you find it funny that it is a donkey, which is the Democrat Party's? That's their mascot.
yeah, I find it just ridiculous that people really think Biden is our president still. And there was an insurrection with no firearms, by the way.
There was clearly
Armed insurrection.
There was no insurrection, but there was an erection.
There was an erection.
I believe that. I believe that over than the insurrection.
There's a lot of people dressed up. Some of them like what was the name of that one band that they all dressed up as? Like one was an Indian chief, the other one was a fireman. YMCA. There's people wandering around and look like that, who we later found out were actually informants.
There you go.
But live and learn.
Live and learn, man. At least we lived. At least we lived. At least we lived.
We did live. Speaking of something that's not as funny though, Ashley Babbitt, she didn't live.
Maybe, depending on if that was fake or not. Who knows?
If Ashley Babbitt was black, what the hell do you think would have happened that day?
She probably wouldn't.
It would have been
wouldn't have jumped up.
completely different, man. But they NWO they dropped the ball on that one.
The big thing about Ashley Babbitt is, why would she jump up there and try to break through?
The question is, does she deserve to have her life taken for that? She wasn't armed.
Well, she shouldn't have jumped.
An unarmed female going against freaking God knows how many federal agents. Come on, man.
She should not have jumped up there.
Ever hear of tasers? I mean, dude, they didn't need to freaking.
I'm on the
cop side. Have a weapon. There was no weapon found.
I'm on the other
no
side.
Weapon, though.
It doesn't matter.
One woman charging at a bunch of dudes with guns. Come on, man.
Nope. Do not do it.
She didn't have a weapon, though. There was no weapon seen. She wasn't even through the window.
But if she would have gotten through, other people would have.
If that happened out in the streets, dude, you'd have Al Sharpton. You'd have freaking, what's that? Crump.
You're probably right. You're probably right.
Attorney Crump right there. What the hell? You know what I'm talking about? Crump, the one who represents all these.
No, you're probably right.
He represented George Floyd and freaking all these other people, dude.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, because she wasn't black.
Trump going to be showing up.
But she did something wrong. I believe she was in the wrong. I don't believe
she was in the wrong. Was she in the wrong so much she deserved to have her life taken?
Yes. If she's gonna jump, if she's gonna jump and try to break through,
anyway, if she was a different color, it would have been freaking crazy. It would have been outrage.
You could be right on that.
You're like you're going.
I am.
You're frozen up, I think. Let us know, Kriprick, if you're out there. In the meantime, we're gonna go YMCA.
It's fun to stay at the Y.
Yeah, you're all froze up, man. They didn't like what we were talking about, apparently.
Let me check my monitor here.
Or it could be a bad internet connection. We don't know.
Yeah, it looks good here. No, I think that was a whole interesting thing, the whole Ashley Babbitt thing. But I think she was wrong. I think she was wrong for what she did. She should not have done that. That did not help the Patriots. That did not help Trump. Everything that she did.
We'll never know. What if she was? What if she was told? What if she was told to play a part in this whole, as we see people being escorted through ropes, like a tour rather than an insurrection? But I digress. What if that was part of the plan? What if she was told, to do that and nothing was going to happen?
That's why they have this trial.
We'll never know because she's not alive anymore to tell the tale. And then there was a conspiracy theorist people going, which I mean, Greg and I are to a large degree, but not that far. And I watched it as it happened.
Would you do that, Eric? Would you have busted through the?
No,
window,
God, no.
What she did? That's what I'm saying.
I didn't even go there. Washington D.C. is not that far away.
But
I would have made it a point to go there if I thought it was a good idea.
That was a stupid move of her.
Right.
right? That was a dumb move. And they're like, well, you can't talk bad about the dead. No, if she's a fucking idiot, then we should talk bad about what she did.
But I
wrong.
watched her for 10 minutes because before it got removed. Now you can't find the original video, of course. But the original video was she was laying there for almost 10 minutes. Nobody was putting direct pressure on her neck. Directly to her left when she was shot was, I forgot his name, but he was one of the leaders of the BLM, standing right next
Those
to
guys
Ashley
don't
Babbitt.
know any. They don't know what to do. They don't know how. They're not medic.
Oh, come on. You really, dude? You're going to, the first that you put direct pressure on it, a freaking 5-year-old
these
could
guys
tell you to do that.
Listen, Eric. If somebody is so dumb that they're going to do that and they're going to be there and to try to break through this,
there was like 20 people standing around and not one person did anything, dude.
Is they're idiots? They don't.
Dude, that's 20 of them.
They're retards.
I'm just sad. We may never know what happened with Ashley Babbitt, but I think it might have been something different.
It could have been. Could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been. Should have been. Would have been. But what
again? I do not think that her making a dumb move. I agree, Kriprick. Her making a stupid move doesn't equal death, a death sentence, or a bullet. Yeah,
nothing. Either. If you are going to try to break through a place where if you break through it, they're going to shoot you, and you do it, then that's on you, and you're a fucking idiot. That's what I think. If you're that dumb, and she was a soldier, so she knew better.
She had a high-level clearance in the Air Force.
Right. So
she wasn't dumb. That's the thing. That's why a lot of it doesn't make sense.
And that's why I blame her. I blame her for everything that happened to her. If you're going to do that, if you're going to be that dumb and try to break through this thing, what is that going to do? That's just going to get you put in handcuffs.
But and then does it equal a death sentence? Is the question.
It's not a death sentence.
Where's less lethal? Where's tasers, which are we see on cop videos constantly. They let them go to almost till they get shot sometimes, and do get shot sometimes.
The only reason why these people made it this far is because of less lethal.
If she came in like with a gun, guns blazing, or even a gun up, she didn't have a firearm though.
No, let me explain this. If they would have done what Trump wanted to, Trump wanted the National Guard there. If they would have done everything that, I'll put you here. If they would have done everything that Trump said that they should have done, none of this would have happened. Those people would have not have made it that far. We would not have been there. But because they were like, no, we don't want that. They didn't want to take Trump's advice. Trump said, look, you got to do this. You have to protect this Capitol. They didn't do that. And then they go and they blame him for it. Everything that happened.
Well, because of his concern that this was not a legit election. The fact that he was a sitting president and wasn't going to concede peacefully.
Yes, he was, though. He
was. I misworded that. He wasn't going to concede, but he was going to do it peacefully.
He was always about a peaceful protest, and the problem was we had the Summer of Love.
Oh man,
burned everything down.
You're all fading out again, man.
It could be on your end. Could be on your end, my brother.
Let me listen on the backup monitor. Find out.
All right. But everything
it's on your end, brother.
Is it on mine? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing any issue. Yeah,
you sound like a robot.
I think that's you. It's not me, it's you. Sorry. Yeah, see, I'm good. What I was saying is everything that they did, if they would have listened to what Trump said, what Trump wanted the National Guard there.
There we go. What happened? Now I can hear you fine.
Yeah, and if they would have just listened to what Trump wanted, everything would have been fine. But the fact that they didn't, to me, shows exactly what they wanted, because what Trump wanted was not part of what they wanted. They planned January 6th. January 6th was a false flag against Trump. This was not something that Trump had planned out or anything like that.
Hence, one of the leaders of the BLM standing right next to Ashley Babbitt. These are hardly. How can you say these are coincidences?
Yeah,
people.
No, they're definitely not.
You have tons of video evidence which keeps getting scrubbed from bullshit platforms like this. Of people being escorted in through ropes.
Well, you have
Everything,
to
everything
remember
about that day's been why isn't
one of
there
the
full
first
video
things.
of the
One of the
entire, because there's cameras everywhere in there. It's the
yeah.
Capitol of the entire day. Why ask yourselves that, folks?
No, one of the first things that was scrubbed was Trump saying that this needs to be a peaceful protest, that he was
Yep,
against
for
any
sure.
of this violence. They scrubbed that first because they didn't want people to know that. Trump has the big trial. Trump is fighting 4 trials. I believe he's already at 2. He's got 2 more coming up, but the big trial is going to be J6. It's going to be the really big one, and all that it's going to do. It's just meant to trick the people that
Coinciding with what? By the way, the elections just happens that
exactly
this trial happens to
election
be
interference.
coinciding at the same time, pretty much, as the elections.
Yeah,
Nothing to see here, folks. Move along.
just a coincidence, right?
It's a winky dink.
So now what happens with Trump, where you have Biden who can't even, he can barely walk,
Poop in
and
his
so
pants,
yeah,
allegedly.
they just like now we have these debates that are coming up. All of this is because they want to stack the deck against Trump, and anyone who has researched Trump, who has read Trump's book or known about Trump for all of these years, it ain't gonna work. This dude is sharp. He is
He
sharper
is
than
sharp, and
I
he's kind of
mean,
echoing some of the words of people, economists like David Schiff, Robert Kiyosaki, who have been constantly saying it's been going on slowly but surely. The debt hasn't gotten smaller, folks. It's gotten ginormously bigger, and it was already big. And China, India, there's like 15 to 17 countries now that have formed the BRICS nations. The BRICS nations is that it's taking the reserve currency, which is the U.S. dollar, and pissing on it, using it as toilet paper as soon as it shifts, and it's shifting quick. And Biden is doing nothing about it, addressing it, nothing. Neither is this administration right now, currently. The fact that what is it, 32 trillion, 34,
is it that
depending on where
much?
you're looking, and
Wow.
just keeps growing. In debt to who, I ask, by the way? Who is the United States in debt to? We can give billions of dollars to countries like Ukraine. How are we in debt? Make it make sense, Greg.
Yep. No, you can't. Yes, I can make it make sense. I can make it make sense, but it's just going to be something that you know that Joe Biden he's part of the Chinese government program. He's part of that, but even the Chinese aren't part of that because there's great Chinese people out there.
Right,
and they're not going to be
right,
part of that. So
right,
it's
right.
all about this globalization that they really want between these 3 countries. And 1984 is it's a very generic
Like a new world
version.
order.
They want a new world order. I want to share this with Rick in case, Rick, you haven't seen this, but the book that I'm talking about with Trump, it is worth getting. This is The Art of the Deal. I have the audiobook, and it's one of my favorite audiobooks, actually. But if you have not read Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal from 1987, man, this breaks it down. If you really want to understand everything that Donald Trump is doing now, everything he did from 2016 to 2020 with our country, this will give you a very good view of all the stuff that he did, why he did it, how he did it, and why the country is where we are now. At least where we were in 2020. And you have to remember, we only had 2 years. Trump had 2 years before COVID, right? Or maybe 3 years, right? I would say 3 years. So in the last year, that's when COVID happened, right? 2019, 2020. So, but I think Eric's got something he wants to play here.
Well, I mean, this is the leader of the free world right now, the greatest nation in the world right
He ain't no leader.
now. Just
I'm ready to debate. Jill just changed my diaper so I can debate with a fresh diaper. No poopy pants, I promise. Do you have more drugs? I need more drugs. Wait, where am I?
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. Since then, he hadn't shown up for debate.
Yeah.
He wants to debate me again. Well, make my day,
Look at the
Pat.
cuts.
I'll
Look at
even
the
do it
cuts.
twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Oh, pause that. Please pause that. Please pause that.
Oh, yeah. I'll play this, and then I'll pause it.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me.
There you go.
Oh, it's
Trump calls his daughter attractive. Media firestorm of hate. Biden literally molests his daughter. Crickets. Ashley Biden, diary pages 67 to 68. I'm so afraid of him coming in the shower with me that I've waited until late at night to take a shower. Ashley Biden officially confirms her diary where she mentioned about showers with my dad.
I think Ashley Biden is a little too close to Ashley Babbitt. It's a little too close to that. But you're right.
Biden's great.
Well, sorry.
Oh, dude. So, I mean, here's where you have somebody who's just a regular bisexual person calling out the ridiculousness of the trans. So now you have the trans community and the
you have the Democrats calling out RFK.
You have the LGBT, but forget the T.
You have RFK calling out the Democrats. Kind of.
This is great though, man. Right here, this is a lunacy going on in America right now because we're really making America great with shit like this.
I said what I said. Some things are not yours to talk about, joke about, or say. And you should go back to being deathly afraid of offending people.
Deathly afraid of offending people. Interesting. No, we actually need to do the complete opposite, and that is bring back constructive criticism and critical thinking, allowing a difference of opinion and opening up that dialogue, because I hate to break it to you, but a lot of the stuff happening in society this day and age is not valid, and it needs to be checked. Do you want to know what I think people are becoming too comfortable doing? Vilifying and silencing certain groups of people because they're not following your agenda or they have a difference in opinion. And then not being able to outwardly express that opinion without fear of being doxxed. You coming for them, their family, their livelihood, their businesses. Do straight people say things that are offensive? Absolutely. Do gay people say things that are offensive? 100%. Everybody has a capability of being an a-hole, unfortunately.
Freaking spot on, right? Do you agree?
Do I agree with that? Yeah. I mean, we're all people. The
freaking dude's freaking smart.
Well, he's not too smart. If he's gay, he's not.
I don't understand why certain groups of people are allowed to speak freely while others have to bite their tongue and worry about offending. As Charlie Kirk has stated, when conversations stop happening, that's when conflict arises. You can't suppress a certain group of people's speech and then expect there not to be some type of animosity. And to finish this video off, I don't know why you would want to. As I said earlier in the video, a lot of the stuff happening today is not valid, but everybody's expected to sit back and accept it for what it is while the country pushes further and further away from any type of moral compass. We need
dude, freaking spot on.
To realize reality. This video was directed towards society as a whole, not any one community in particular. I just want to end the video by saying that I love you guys and I will see you in the next one.
To the 30% of you still supporting Joe Biden, you have got to be the stupidest people who have ever walked this earth.
Hard to even find a single 30.
You know this guy named Harry Sisson? He is an influencer on TikTok. And
have you seen this guy?
No.
I have. I've gone in his chat rooms and I have
sure you have.
Nice words to say. He's actually paid for by Biden to be there. I'm like, how the fuck does this little kid idiot right here, who has no clue, getting thousands of live viewers? Well, here's why.
Done.
Oh yeah,
actually promotions for Joe Biden, making it look like it's organic. Apparently, he's gotten into a feud with a lady named Sarah Fields, where she was investigating him a few months ago for a bomb threat that he said was called in on him. She investigated and found no such threat.
Never happened.
Well, when she exposed Harry, he then had someone look into the background of Sarah Fields. And as the older millennial has pointed out on X and on TikTok, he had someone dox her, expose her identity and her past. That is
right.
The
Because that
CIA.
long time ago, land far, far away. We're still doing that, folks. Me and Greg Fernandez. We're still exposing shills. People out here purposely put out here
They
to do
expose
this
themselves.
and backing it up with proof.
Yeah, they expose themselves. They have no problem doing that.
Right.
some very, very difficult things, including an abusive spouse. But apparently Harry thought it was just fine. Now, what I've noticed for some time is that Harry Sisson is on live TikToks.
Oh, bro, Crip Rick, I saw your video. You went on TikTok to debate on live. You thought YouTube was crit? No.
Which one? Which one, Rick?
That's a whole different level of freaking psychopathy over there.
Yeah, I'd love to hear which one Rick saw on there. I can only imagine.
I did it like Fast and Furious for maybe 3 weeks, and I just stopped. Nope, couldn't do it anymore. It was ridiculous, man.
You know, I tried to do something.
It was that video I played earlier, dude. That's all it was.
That's all it was. Oh,
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
It's too bad.
I just wanted to record some funny clips, but that's a whole different story. You and I are supposed to talk about that, right? About TikTok Live using our PCs rather than our phones. It's a whole thing. Anyway, yeah, this guy's an actor.
Oh, they finally pissed off Generation X. Guys, I don't know what the final straw was. I'm not 100% sure what the final straw was.
You're Gen X, right?
I don't know. I'm born in '79.
Oh yeah, you're Gen X, bro.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's 1965 to 1980 or 1979. You're Gen X, though.
Based on who though? Who's calling me Gen X?
Well,
Because
Gen X.
I don't really like that. I don't really like it.
It's a certain amount of years between the next generation of people. As people are born, I think it goes.
I never liked that.
14 years, something like that.
Based on who? Who's telling me that?
Of having conversations with white
It's people like this that are telling me I'm Gen
Here,
X.
and I can guarantee you that many white cis women are probably not having conversations with you. And if they are tired of it too. Might I suggest a quick Google search for you? If you just open up Google on your phone and type in, that should be able to help you
Did
out.
you see what it
Have a
said?
good day.
Psychiatrist.
Oh, they finally pissed off Generation X. Guys, I don't know.
All right.
Yeah, that's too much for me, man. I never got into the Gen X or this generation. It's like,
Well, it means you grew up doing certain things that this generation doesn't.
But that's another thing where they put us in this box here, right?
Sure.
We're talking about the same thing. They want to keep us in this box instead of just talking about, well, you know what? This is Eric over here. This is Greg here, and they're two different people. And let's.
But I believe Generation X might be probably the best, baddest ass generation ever to live.
Why do you think
That's
that?
us? Just because we grew up in a different time. When we grew up, there were no phones. We had to go out and play. Life was a bit harder. We had to work a little bit harder. It was a different time to live. In fact, who was it? Was it Elon Musk and a few others? Stephen Hawking said the Generation Y, which is the next generation after us. So 30 to 25 to maybe 40-year-olds.
I would say I'd say
they're the last truly human generation, because we were the last generation that grew up without these electronic devices in front of our face constantly.
I would say there are three. There are people that have grown up and died without any of the digital age. There are people like us who grown up in the digital age. We are pre-digital age, but we also are post-digital age. And then there are people in the third one that only grew up in the digital age.
We're full digital age. We're here.
I would say there's
literally
three.
Broadcasting and doing shows and this didn't exist when Gen Xers grew up.
But we grew up, we understood the world before this digital age. There are people that are growing up right now that have no concept of a pre-digital age. Those are the ones that I would just put it in three categories, where those are the three that I would put it
I mean,
put it in,
things like we
because
read lots of books.
yeah,
That doesn't happen. And that's where the generation comes in. Now we're at Z, which is what we see now.
which makes no sense, because then after
Bunch of
Z,
nutball parents convincing their kids that they're freaking born the wrong gender. But gender's not the same as identity. That identity means something else. And now we're on to a trans medicalist.
it's nuts, man.
Transformers, right? I mean,
Transformers.
This is really our concern right now, folks. Why, I might add, as always, we're being sprayed like bugs. But that we won't talk about that. Can you even talk about that on YouTube?
Good. I don't care.
I don't even know. I don't go to YouTube ever for any of my
No, you're not gonna find
news.
No, you're not gonna find. Well, I think Rick has some video. Actually, I think that's one of the videos that Rick got censored on, was actually talking about some of that stuff. But it's there. It's always there. So I mean, people look up in the sky and you can see what is going on. The thing is, we don't want to be fearful of it. We don't want to be scared of it. We don't want to act like this is the end all be all. And sometimes you have people where like everything they post is doom and gloom, and there's no hope. And it's like, well, why would I want to watch that? Why do I want to listen to that? There's no hope. There's nothing. They don't talk about Jesus Christ. When you understand that Jesus Christ is the one that can save you, is the one where we have hope. This gives us hope. He gives us hope. It changes everything. But even that is some of the more censored things on YouTube. The whole algorithms with Jesus Christ is much more censored than any of these other topics that we'll ever talk about.
Well, now it's been normalized and cool to not know which gender you are. It's been normalized, and it's cool now to be an atheist,
and that's related.
To believe that nothing from nothing comes nothing,
right?
Or even worse, to be a Satanist or practice witchcraft.
Right.
It's become cool to do that in this new generation once again. Hence, Greg, I know you don't like I don't like being in a box either. You know that. Don't put me in that box, motherfucker.
No
and
way.
You won't. But it just means different generations through like 15 years, I think, or so. And this new generation is, man.
They need.
I don't think I'm gonna have grandkids. I have a son who's 22. a stepdaughter who's 26, and they're debating whether to have kids because they're awake and they like, why would I want to bring a kid into this knowing what's coming?
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
I felt the same way at some point in my life too. And it was only when I strengthened my relationship with Jesus Christ that I realized this is what we are called to do, because we need strong Christians out there. Because there are some cases where me and my wife, at one point we thought we had tried, nothing happened. We thought we weren't going to have kids. We thought God didn't want us to have kids, so we were okay with that, and we had agreed, okay, that's cool. If God doesn't want us to have kids, okay, fine. My wife had a cyst. She had a surgery. They took the cyst out and everything, and all of a sudden we had 2 kids. So you never really know, and that's why you have to get right.
Right, dude. My birth mom, I think she was 15, maybe like a freshman in high school, and I wouldn't even be talking to you right now if she didn't decide that right? Life was worth it.
You know what I mean?
Amen.
So I mean, and those are it's so crazy to think about it like that. When we were growing up, to think, well, you have the choice. Yeah, you can kill the kid or you cannot kill the kid. And When you think about that, and then you think about a kid, if you ever thought, well, this person shouldn't have a child, and they had a child, and think about how that child came up and how that child was raised. Because there was a point in my life where my mom had a child, and I thought she shouldn't have that child. She had that child. That's my brother. Now I love my brother, and it haunts me every day to think that at some point in my life I was so messed up that I thought that she should have that choice to not bring him into this world here. And
then you go to TikTok and there's tons of stations going full term abortion all 9 months. Literally all 9 months.
12 months, right? Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Why don't we bump it up? Right. Bump it up to 24 months. Why not?
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Year and a half, perfect.
Right. And there are people that are like, no,
all 9 months.
That can't be real. There's no way that
it is real though. These
but it is real.
The amount of the black versus white thing ramping up again.
Yeah, it's real. It is real, and it's crazy. It's scary. It's scary to think that people could actually think like that. But that's what I'm worried about is the people who have grown up, who don't understand the pre-digital age,
right?
That have never had the problem of putting a CD into a CD player and it skips. They've never had the problem of putting a cassette into a cassette player and the thing starts spinning and you're like, you got to stop it. And then you have to rewind it. You take a pencil and you rewind it to get it out there. Those are some of the things they've never understood what a pager is. They have no idea what a pager is. They have no idea what a rotary phone is. They have no idea what a payphone is.
They're too brainwashed. They're too busy being brainwashed to
it's just not
even
their
think about that,
world.
about which gender they are.
Well, and
people can't see this as an agenda. It's crazy.
But they
had no problem with any people, whatever your choice is. Hey man, do you, as long as you're not harming anybody. God bless you.
See, I'm on the other side.
Children.
I'm on the other side of that.
They're harming children, bro.
No,
they're bringing things to children they would have never thought about if it wasn't introduced to them.
Yeah, and that's why I really think we need to get people to recognize there is man and there is woman, and that's it. That being gay is not good. Being a homosexual is not good. These are not good. These are not things that are okay. These are problems. These are bad. This is like being in a gang and you get out of that gang and you realize being in the gang was wrong. That's the way that I see those things. I don't see those as good things. I don't believe that being gay is a good thing, and I never will. And I don't believe that it's something that we should be okay with either. And I think that is one of the big problems that these people that are growing up in this world are going to have now, because they're going to be so confused if they do not have Jesus Christ, if they don't have that backing and they don't have that understanding that after you realize that homosexuality is wrong, where do you go then? If you don't go to Jesus Christ, if you don't know who Jesus Christ is, if nobody has introduced you to Jesus Christ, you're in a world of hurt, and you may just go back to keep doing what you are doing. And I've heard Trump talk about this. I've heard Kennedy talk about this. We know where Biden stands, where they had the gay flag on the White House, and they had the whole transgender. They had the transgender person flashing their boobs outside of the White House. But read the Bible, and what does the Bible tell us? The Bible tells exactly what is going to happen. This is what's going to happen.
Christianity is still the most practiced.
Is it?
Spiritual following. Yeah. 37%.
Well, thank God.
You know how I know that?
No.
I was out to eat with the wife and we played one of those touchscreen games where you like do the trivia. So I just learned that tonight.
Okay. All right. That's cool.
All right.
I'm down with that.
Yep, Christianity is still number one, but it's fading.
It is fading. It is fading, and it's going to continue to fade.
And people still confuse Catholicism and Catholics with Christianity, which is two completely different things.
It is. It is. It's really all about the Bible. Get right with the Bible. Get right with Jesus Christ. Focus there. Don't focus on a religion. Don't focus on a denomination. Focus on what the Bible says. What does Jesus Christ say? You focus there, and you'll be good. You're all
And
good.
the problem with that for myself and a lot of others who are awake, I'm sure yourself too, is that when we do focus there, we see a lot of signs and the things that are biblical prophecy type things happening in front of our eyes, and seeing the decline and having comparisons about what happened in the Bible in comparison to what's happening right now.
Yep.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, it is. It is. And even when you read the scripture tells us, I mean, they were comparing a lot of the scriptures, comparing things that are they're reading, what they're writing at that point. They're comparing it to things that have happened in the
What's
past.
fascinating in some of the other Bibles, which aren't the true Bible, but is this Bible really the true Bible? We talked about this because the Dead Sea Scrolls and certain other things that should have been canonized weren't for one reason or another. But digressing, they talked about some of these same things occurring at the same exact time period as the Bible too, meaning this stuff was written by other people too. Same thing going on right now.
Yeah.
Biblical prophecy.
Biblical prophecy. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that could have been written at any time,
Right?
Any day. So I don't know how much faith I would put into that. But what I would look at
to other types of Bibles or scripture.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
about the same
What I
thing.
would look at.
Well, the reason I put legitimacy into it is because they're describing the same events happening in the same time period.
But that could be because they just read what.
Oh, sure, and it could have been some other kind of craziness going on then
just
too.
read what the Bible said,
Sure.
and then said, "Hey, I'm going to make up my own Bible," which we see that a lot.
Yeah.
They make up their own Bible, like, "Oh,
I don't
hey,
think.
here we go."
I mean, historians. I mean, when they're talking about these people, but you know, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, the Council of Nicaea, but
Mhm.
we have to remember that they also didn't exclude those Bibles from or those books of the Bible from people having access to. That's why we have access.
Right, but they tried.
They may have tried, but
Dead
God
Sea
would
Scrolls were only
God would
discovered in
not let them try.
1967 is
But
when they
all
were
that
dug up.
all that the
They
Dead
hit 'em
Sea
for a-
Scrolls, but the
but
Dead Sea Scrolls, they did not
That's
add
AD
to the
though.
scripture. All they did was they actually validated what was in the Bible, what was in the Bible that people
Right.
have been reading
But
for
they tried to bury
thousands
those,
of
Greg.
years.
You have to agree that they tried to bury it. It took
There was no
till
secret. There was
67
no sacred knowledge.
AD to dig those up. They buried those deep.
It's all
I
the
never thought
same.
those
It's all the
could
same
be
stuff
discovered.
that we have access to now, though. It's nothing new.
Google
it's
it.
nothing new. Yeah, I have. It's nothing new.
I'm
There's
I'm
nothing
totally kidding.
different.
To Google it. I would
Google it. Research it. Do your own
Google
research.
it. Google is a search
there's-
engine that's going to
But
give you
there's nothing
completely
new. All that it
unbiased
does,
information. Google.
none of that contradicts what the Bible is, which is about Jesus Christ. None of that contradicts that. It does not tell you, oh, Jesus Christ isn't the Son of God because of the Sea Scrolls. The Sea Scrolls say Jesus isn't the Son of God. No,
it was more.
It just validates
It was more
everything that the Bible says.
It wasn't canonized, and there's debate. I mean, that's something we could debate
It's not
about.
canonized, but
forever.
it's not also like
People will debate about stuff like that forever.
Right, but what in those scripture, what in those books that were not included, those 66 books, there were 66 books the Council of Nicaea did not include. In those 66 books, what discounts everything that we have in the Bible that you read today?
If shit keeps going like it's going, Greg,
Nothing.
At least we were, again, shout out to Generation X. We know how to read. We read books, and
thankfully
we might have time to read all. It was 77 books if people don't wake up. Another thing that I see pushed by NASA is these solar flares. Like it could be a Carrington event, and the Carrington event it happened in Canada, to where a whole province was flashed from a solar burst. So, and they're saying it's getting stronger. Just looking at this stuff, not to be Debbie Downer, just to continuously
World's-
push to
world's gonna
be
end.
prepared in some way, shape, or form.
Always that, and that's what God teaches us. Watch, wait. We have to be ready, be constantly ready. At any moment, Jesus Christ could come back. You have to be ready at any moment. Are any of us ready? Are you ready to say, yeah, you know what? I've gotten my life straight. I don't sin. And if Jesus Christ comes down now, he's not going to convict me of any sins. No.
Yeah, and times have moved on since the Bible too. And now, do we know that the ruler, the God of this world, the ruler of this world, Satan, the ruler of this world, is not going to show up and have a freaking great showdown?
That's what the Bible tells us. The
With
Bible tells us
Yeshua Jesus.
that is going to
That's what
happen.
the Bible does tell us, that it's going to be all out spiritual warfare at the end.
That is going to happen. Absolutely. The Vatican has thousands of books. Very few have seen, so none of us have the full story. No, we have the full story, because the full story, Jesus Christ tells us, what is truth? What is truth? Pilate asked Jesus, what is truth? And he says, I am the truth. So we have the truth. So instead of giving us the long version, the Bible gives us the real version, gives us the short version, gives us the narrow path. Jesus tells us to walk the narrow path. We have so many Christians that want to walk the unnarrow path. They want to stray from the narrow path, which is nothing wrong with that. You make sure you're a strong Christian if you're going to do that. Make sure you're a strong Christian if you're going to go look at the book of where the giants are. If you're going to go look at all of these things, and make sure that the devil is not going to
the Nephilim
deceive you.
I'm sure
Thank you to the Nephilim, to make sure that the devil is not going to deceive you, to trick you into thinking, well, wait a minute, okay,
giants bleeding with the daughters of men.
Yes, which is all in the scripture. It's all in the Bible. It's just not focused on, because the focus is always on Jesus Christ. What these other books, what all this stuff wants to do, is they want to take you away from that, to take the focus off of him. But if you have your focus on Jesus Christ first, then you can go look at those things. But if you start with those other books, then you're going to be, that's where the devil is really going to come after you, because the devil is going to know that you don't have your foundation with Jesus Christ yet. And it's going to make it easier for him to fool you, to trick you. If Jesus Christ is not the rock, if he's not the center of your world and everything that you do, the devil is going to be able to get you to question if Jesus is really who he says he is. If you understand Jesus is who he says he is, and nothing can break that foundation. If you are a rock that cannot be shaken with Jesus Christ, go out and you will be able to do great things. But if you don't have that relationship with him, and you try to go out and do those other things to look for it, that's what the devil wants. And that's what I see with the whole New Age thing. And I see a lot of that with a lot of people. They go out and they treat Jesus Christ like it's just another view, it's just another road, it's just another path, and there's nothing wrong with that. People are going to do that. That's your relationship with God. But if you're going to do that, it's going to be a pretty tough road, I think. Just my view on this. So all these books matter. You need the information to make an informed decision. Yes, but when you've read the books, and this is what frustrated me, is when I read the books and I'm like, this doesn't change anything. This actually reaffirmed everything that I learned. I felt like it was
right, just like all the books from the Kabbalah to the.
It was like a waste of time for me personally. Now that doesn't mean that everybody.
The Quran, they all have names for different evil deity. It's all evil force, and they were describing the exact same thing. No matter what Bible you look, they were the exact same evil force. They were just some called them jinns.
Yeah, but it's not the same thing.
Christians called them demons. They had different names, but they were describing the same evil force.
No, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. Once you take out Jesus from it, it's not the same thing. You are vulnerable. When you take out Jesus Christ,
I don't think any of these were with that type describing the evil force. We're taking
Yeah, they
shoot
are.
Jesus
If
out
you're
of
a Muslim, if you're Jewish, you are taking Jesus Christ out of it.
Well, you're not
Yeah.
taking him out of it. You're just
Yeah, no, you are. You are. Oh, I think you froze. Go ahead.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
That's okay. Okay, go ahead.
That was weird, dude. There was like a
But what I was saying, and I don't know what your view is on this, but if you take Jesus out of it, you know, the Muslims have a false interpretation of Jesus. The Jews have a false interpretation. Anyone who's not a Christian, anyone who doesn't believe the Bible, they have a false interpretation of who Jesus is. So you are taking Jesus out of it. We're not talking about the same Jew. We're not talking about the same thing at that point.
But what they're all talking about is this evil force.
Right, but the evil force is against Jesus Christ. So they're
No,
not
it
talking
wasn't
about,
against Jesus Christ. It was just,
and
the
that's
evil
what I mean.
force.
And that's what I mean. They're not talking about the same evil force that me as a Christian is talking about. Because
Like Buddhists weren't saying that the evil force was Jesus. They were just describing an evil force when they described
no,
evil force. Here was it?
But it's not the same evil force that is
Was it
fighting
Muslims? It was
against
the jinn.
Jesus.
I got to remember these. Different names they had for the different deities, but there was each religion had the same one, and it seemed like they were describing the exact same evil force. And it wasn't Jesus they were describing, though. It was some other.
No, it's the power against Jesus is what I'm saying. They're not talking about the same evil force that is fighting against Jesus.
I think they're talking about the same evil force fighting against humanity.
Right, but I'm talking, but as Christians, we're talking about the evil force that is fighting against Jesus. That's a big, big difference.
Yeah, but I mean, that's people are too far gone to even get to that point at this point.
No, never, because
that'll happen. You know what's crazy is most people only talk to God, Yeshua, Jesus, when they need a favor.
I look at the thief on the cross, and I think at the very end, everyone will come to know Jesus at the very end. If hopefully sooner, but at the very end,
it lies in what's inside you. I mean, I can tell that you're regardless of our debates, you're a good Christian dude.
Yeah, I try to be.
And Christian just means yes. You can just kind of tell. You know what a person now Christians being bastardized because now you have offshoots of what a Christian is. There's several different denominations: Presbyterian, Catholic, freaking Seventh-day Adventist, holy. Remember the Holy Rollers? What are they called now? Jehovah's Witnesses. You have several different freaking offshoots now, which is bastardizing. Anyway, there's way more now than there was.
Right, which none of them
named were already here. Now there's more offshoots.
Well, and none of those names are in the scripture. I mean, I think Christian or Christianity is only mentioned once.
Scientologist,
right? None of that is in any Bible, is in any of our scriptures. It is all just about your relationship with Jesus Christ. That was what makes you a Christian. The Christian in the Bible was used as a derogatory term. It was not used as I'm a Christian. It was like, oh, he's one of those Christians or something. And it was only used once or twice in the whole Bible. So even the word Christian isn't really used that much.
Right.
It is all That's about true. your belief in Jesus Christ. That's what the Bible is. That's what the scripture is.
And it's a reflection of how you, for instance, how you carry yourself as far as what do you do when you're on here? You're a broadcast. What happened to all? I mean, what happened to all the, the Hot Greg fan club and that they don't. When we're talking about this, they never come. Maybe you should do a Trump debate or RFK debate. It's been a while since we did those. Like where you host an open debate. You debate about Trump, debate about RFK, Biden, David Crowley. You debate about different things.
Yeah.
Those seem to draw a lot of people because YouTube, it's hard to do.
Not on YouTube. Yeah.
Unlike
not on
TikTok,
YouTube.
right?
Yeah.
Because we're
It's the
censored
whole
like crazy,
the
bro.
algorithms. They're too crazy on YouTube.
Debates
It's
will
not
though,
gonna
and we can slide a whole bunch of facts out there to some of these fucktards on the sly that way.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. That's I'd be down for that.
You're like,
I'm
why don't
always
you do it
open
on
for
your
that.
station, then, mofo?
Well, I don't think many people are really interested in it. They're not interested in a debate with them, and that's why I'd like to have, the Kennedy and Trump debate kind of with
That's where you
myself.
bring the most people out. It was the debates. You bring the most people out. Sometimes you can win if
Depends on
you.
the topic. Depends on the topic, but not on YouTube. I don't know. I mean, YouTube is just so, it's so,
It's icky.
it's very monetized now. Like
What's
unless
that
you're
shit? It's got the
monetized,
ick.
if you're
You've
monetized, I'm
kind of
sure
got
it's
the
a whole
ick.
new, it's a whole new different level or whatever. But I don't want to be monetized. I have a job. I don't need to make money off of YouTube or anything. I do this because it's fun for me. I like talking. I think it helps me. I grew up with a speech problem. So just doing this stuff and redoing it helps me. Writing this book, going back and listening to this stuff, it helps me. So I do this more just for those reasons. And I'd
Hey
love
man,
to.
I've been doing this for about 12 years, and I made $100. So I'm definitely doing it for the money.
That's right.
$100 in 12 years.
All about the Benjamin. The one Benjamin. Yeah.
What's if you split a penny 8 ways? That's probably what I made.
Cool. I like it. I'm down with that, man. I like that.
Yeah. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
I got I don't know what your schedule is like here, if you got some more time or but I just wanted to kind of get back into some of the debate, unless you got anything else you want to cover, or anything else you want to play.
No, roll it out.
I want to get back into some of the Kennedy and Trump stuff we were talking about.
It's 12. Yeah,
Sean
I probably
Hannity.
got about 15 more minutes. Let's roll.
Okay, yeah, this is about 10 minutes. I don't think I'm going to play this whole thing because I can't stand Sean Hannity, by the way. But he does kind of break this down pretty good about the debate between President Trump and Joe Biden of what is going to happen, what is meant to happen. And this is laughable. You'll get a kick out of this. Have you ever, let me ask you this before I play this, Eric. Have you ever had somebody challenge you to a debate or anything like that, and then they kind of came back and they set up all of these rules and all of these things that, oh, you have to abide by this rule and that rule, because this is kind of what they're doing. This is what the Biden. Okay, so Eric has been, so Eric and President Trump are on the same level here, because what they are doing to President Trump, what the Biden administration is going to do to President Trump, is exactly what has happened to Eric.
And a lot of times you didn't find out about the rules until the stream had started. And you're right in the middle of it. And the more rules are there. Yes, I get you.
Nice. All right. Let me play a little bit of this.
And welcome to Hannity. Wow, what a news night. Panic is in the air. Biden's poll numbers have never been lower, and prices, well, sadly, they continue to rise. Backbreaking inflation up 20% under Joe Biden and this administration, crushing you and your families. Now, Biden's base is crumbling. Americans are suffering. And you see that African Americans, Hispanic Americans, younger voters, part of the Democratic coalition, they're leaving Joe Biden and going right to Donald Trump. They're desperately needing to make up ground. Well, Biden has now officially agreed to debate Donald Trump. How convenient. In a heavily edited, kind of cringeworthy video posted to social media, Biden put on a brave face, and he did his very, very best tough guy, Dirty Harry impersonation. Never thought I'd see it this bad. Take a look.
Oh, yeah, I played this
Donald
earlier.
Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
Wow, that just made my day. Donald Trump has already agreed to 3 debates today, and he wants to do more. Well, not only we can double make your day, Joe. Why stop at 2? Historically, by the way, it's always been 3 debates, presidential debates, with the exception 2020. Why? Because of COVID. So Joe Mr. Make My Day tough guy. Why not the usual 3? Or how about 4? Or how about 1 a month until the election? You might have noticed, by the way, there were 5 separate edits in that 13-second video. I don't know, did Joe need assistance every 2.6 seconds? One can wonder. On X, one user compared the video, this is funny, to a claymation film. Another said that the jump cuts could cause a seizure. Wow. And as for Biden's generous offer to participate in 2 debates, oh, it came with a ton of conditions. None of them mentioned during his 13-second Dirty Harry tough guy routine. Let's be clear. Joe Biden and the media mob, they don't get to collude and dictate all the terms of the debates, but that won't stop Joe and the mob from trying. Now, first, Mr. Make My Day Joe is demanding no audience. Apparently, Joe gets easily scared and likely gets disoriented from crowd noise, which would be new to him since he never gets a large crowd at any of his events.
Come on, man.
Events. Now, 2, Biden wants third-party candidates and independents banned from the stage, including RFK Jr.
Is this true?
Well, as of now, in order to debate third-party candidates, they need to be polling at 15%, qualify in enough states to get the Electoral College votes that are needed. But that should be negotiable. 3, Joe wants mics to be muted after the allotted speaking time expires. So no back and forth. I guess it's just too confusing for Joe to keep track.
Come on, man. This is real.
At moderators' mics, they need to be muted also after a question. Why? Because it's obvious. The liberal media, they'd love to be 2-on-1 versus Donald Trump.
Is this
No,
true,
that can't
Greg?
happen. Nor should networks be allowed to put anything on the screen but the names of the candidates, because they might try to hurt Donald Trump that way and participate that way. No go. And while we're at it, there should be no notes, no teleprompters, Joe. In other words, Joe, you don't get giant cheat sheets telling you where to stand and how to say hello and how to say goodbye. Meanwhile, Biden's 4th demand is that he's only willing to debate on only 4 liberal Biden-friendly
Dude, where's the video of him saying
His
this stuff,
choice,
man? Is this?
ABC,
Are you sure this is
PBS,
real?
Telemundo, and fake news CNN. In response, Trump told Fox News this: "I'm ready to go. The dates they proposed are fine. Anywhere, anytime, any place. Let's see if Joe can make it to the stand-up podium." And Trump even agreed to hold the first debate on fake news CNN, a network filled with dishonest left-wing hacks we know who hate him. Now, this includes Dana Bash and fake Jake Tapper, who are now tasked, they say, with moderating the debate. Let me stop right here. I'm sorry.
Jake Tapper's
the media
moderating the
mob
debate.
And Joe Biden, I'll say it again, they don't get to collude and choose radical Biden-supporting hosts in the moderator's chair.
That's a big show, folks.
That means no fake Jake Tapper. Tapper is a radical left-wing partisan talk show host that masquerades as a journalist. Now, fake Jake, let's look at his career. It started as the press secretary for a Pennsylvania Democrat. Then he worked for a D.C. public relations firm and a gun control group named Handgun Control, Inc. Tapper even had a stint at the radical far-left publication Salon.com before eventually making his way to fake news CNN, where all of a sudden now he wants to be called and considered a journalist. Make no mistake, fake Jake Tapper might be a lot of things. He's no journalist. And like everyone else in the
Yeah, I think we both needed a Hannity break.
Yeah.
God, I'm not a huge fan, but he made a lot of sense. Yeah, Hannity.
Excuse me, sorry. I had a bad cold the last few days.
The world's that to me looked like all the world's a stage, and Fox, CNN, and all the major news networks are owned by the same freaking company, same people. They're all owned by the same people, folks.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say that because Trump, accepted the debate against Biden, but he didn't accept it against Kennedy. That proves he's part of the two-party system and all this stuff. But I'm like, Everything they've done.
I'm like 75-25 that he is.
Really? I mean, everything they've done to
They gotta-
Trump, they don't treat Trump like any other Republican
No, but
any Republican president in the history here.
when the people need a freaking what is that? It's in the Learn Elders of Zion. When the people need a hero, they'll present one and give you one, and they'll play their part. But we don't know. I mean, I can't say that definitively. All I can keep saying is Trump and RFK are saying all the things that anybody with two brain cells rubbed together would want to hear. And Biden is pooping his pants and saying nothing.
And look at the way.
I mean, freaking, it should be crystal clear.
But how they used to do it, they would have Gore versus Bush, right? They didn't really go after either of them. You know, they had Clinton versus Bush. They had all these. They had the Democrat puppet versus the Republican puppet. They didn't go after them the way they're going after Trump. I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen.
I want to see where in the Constitution of the United States of America it says you can't hold more than 3 or 4 debates. You can hold as many as you want because it's not cited in the Constitution. So they could. Yeah. Why not? Is this not important? I mean, why not have debates every freaking week with every candidate who wants to be in there?
Since
regardless of social status, regardless of money status,
right?
But that's where we're at, folks.
But they only held 2 in 2020, and they blame that because because after the first one, President Trump got COVID, so they canceled the second one. So they had 3 that were scheduled in 2020. Right. Trump got COVID.
We're not marching toward tyranny, folks. 2 debates now. Wow,
it's crazy. Crazy stuff.
It's crazy. It is.
But they have at least 2. They have at least 3. And what's crazy is this is going to be outside of that same system.
That is censoring of information right there to its finest. Because people who all across the nation, regardless of their views, are going to be watching this.
Well, this is why.
And the right's going to expose a lot more corruption, a lot more bad, naughty things than the left is. So why would they want to do more than 2 debates?
Well, I think this is why RFK Jr. has been doing a really good job of kind of showing that these debates need to happen outside of the old system. They need
call
to
them out like your fighters, man.
Right. They can happen anywhere.
I want you. Bring it.
So, and this is crazy because
Trump do the debate. There's no law. There's nothing governing this. They can do as many debates as they want. Right.
Yeah. Right. They don't have to be
face each other.
Be regulated by some.
But we're gonna get 2 with just those 2.
No, we're gonna get 3. I believe we're gonna get 3, and I believe it's possible.
Oh, 3.
Possible RFK Jr. may be part of the CNN one. Possibly. We don't really know. We don't really know what's going to happen between now and then. What I'm more curious is, will Donald Trump accept RFK Jr.'s challenge to debate him at the Libertarian Party convention on May 25th or May 26th? Because that's going to happen before any of these proposed debates happen. That's the debate that I think.
Isn't that what all the candidates should be doing constantly right now up until election day? Isn't that how you convince people out?
But see, here's the difference.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have to spend millions upon millions of dollars on commercials to convince people instead of going out and debating each other.
The only presidential candidate who has ever said that is Donald Trump. So yeah, let's do it. I'll do it anytime, anywhere, any place. Never had a presidential candidate or a former president that has ever said that. So if he's going to say that, then he needs to take RFK Jr. seriously. I think that's what I'm hoping.
Well, no other president in American history, modern American history, has received more votes than Joe Biden.
If you believe the hype, sure. If you believe the hype, but also there's been no sitting president that has ever received more votes than Donald J. Trump. Ever.
Except
Yeah. So Donald J. Trump holds the record for any sitting president to have ever received that many votes. Now, usually in the second term of a president, the votes go down. With Barack Obama, the votes went down. With all these other people, the votes went down. But for Donald J. Trump, he received the most votes ever of a sitting president or anybody else. The only one who surpassed him was apparently Joe Biden, who was the most unpopular
When is the
candidate.
surprise fourth candidate going to come out? Big Mike. When's that happening?
That ain't
Big Mike.
Ain't gonna happen. Ain't gonna happen. Let me play a little bit of this. Have you ever seen the Rising? Have you ever heard of that show at all?
No.
Rising on the Hill. That's a pretty good show.
I remember The Hill. That was an old Republican channel.
It's pretty good. It's a pretty good stuff here.
All right, Robbie, what's on your radar today?
Well, Brianna, President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump have agreed to participate in two presidential debates, one in June and one in September, after both candidates bucked the Commission on Presidential Debates, the nonprofit organization that has managed such affairs since 1988, the year I was born. Biden had a list of demands regarding the terms of this debate, such as the elimination of the traditional live audience and inclusion of microphones that will immediately cut off when the candidate's time has elapsed and the other person is speaking. Apparently, these terms were amenable to Trump, who nevertheless complained that Biden is afraid of crowds. So this means the candidates have officially killed the proposal put forth.
So reconfirmation of what Hannity said.
Three debates somewhat closer to Election Day in September and in October. There is nothing sacred about the commission, and these new debates may well be an improvement over what took place last election cycle. Now, preventing the candidates from interrupting each other would also be a significant win for the viewing public and everyone involved. That said, Biden and Trump have utterly failed, unsurprisingly, to agree to the most desirable change, which would have been to include more candidates. The commission infamously restricted its debates to just candidates polling above a 15% threshold. Now, in 2016, this meant that Libertarian Party candidate Gary Johnson was excluded despite polling as high as 13% in some surveys. By mutual decree, Biden and Trump are sticking with this arbitrary limitation. Now, in a statement, the Biden campaign said the purpose of the debate was to compare the only two candidates with, quote, any statistical chance of prevailing in the Electoral College, and not to, quote, waste time on candidates with no prospect of becoming president. That's a rather direct rebuke of independent candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's currently polling at about 10%. RFK Jr. is not currently in a position to win the presidential election, but he could have a major impact. Polls show he's currently pulling votes from Biden and Trump in somewhat equal measure. He has also attracted a following among anti-establishment populists and even some libertarian voters. If either Biden or Trump were to make an appeal to previous supporters who have decamped for RFK Jr. and win them back, it could be the difference for either of them on Election Day.
See, I'm not buying that, because Kennedy is doing very well. He just won another state here. And let me see if I can share this one. They keep saying Kennedy is getting this, is getting that. Kennedy won New Jersey. So he won the ballot access in New Jersey. This guy has almost enough electoral votes, possible electoral votes, to win. So this just came out today. The Kennedy campaign announced he has collected all the signatures needed for ballot access in New Jersey. Volunteers collected more than 3 times the necessary 800 signatures in just 2 weeks. Putting RFK Jr. on the ballot in New Jersey marks another milestone in the state's long history of defending our nation's constitutional rights, said Joe Amoroso, National Field Relations Coordinator and petitioning lead in New Jersey. Voters deserve a better alternative to the two-party system. We are honored to have helped give New Jerseyans a choice. The Kennedy campaign has launched a robust ballot access plan to ensure the Kennedy-Shanahan ticket is on the ballot in all 50 states. Now, when we look at this, the Kennedy-Shanahan campaign has collected the signatures needed for ballot access in 15 states.
Is that it? Only 15 now?
So far. I mean, this is really early on, though. Remember,
Okay.
we're really early on. This doesn't end until like August. We're in May right now.
Okay.
He's on the ballot in 15 states. That is 201 possible electoral votes. He only needs 270 to win of a possible 538. This is big. I
Ooh,
don't know.
that
I
is
don't
big.
know. Yeah, I don't know why they are acting.
And this
like
is just the
this is
totals with 15 states that he's
just with 15 states.
Oh, no
Just
kidding.
with 15 states. I mean, and there are more to come. And he has he's going to be in New York. He's very close to getting that done there too. But all of these different states, and again, a lot of this stuff does not end until August. So this makes sense, and this is what's crazy is like
does
this
make
is
sense.
why they really want these debates to happen now, to happen before he gets the possible 270. Once he hits 270, and they say, look, he can win 270. Yeah, if he wins all these states or whatever, he can get.
It just showed 200 just with 15 states.
201 in 15 states. That's a big number.
Why don't Trump and RFK just team up? It would be, there's no way they could lose. It would have to be coup d'etat.
Yeah, they're different. they're on a different path, I think.
Oh,
probably
man.
they're on two completely different paths here. But
By
we'll see.
design, I think sometimes, but that's just my opinion.
By design, for sure. And there's no doubt about
Look at that.
He also has, I mean, if you look at, let's just look at this here. Okay, he's got, these are all of these ones that are in purple, and I don't know if it's showing this or not. The dark purple, these are done deals. The light purple, these are ones that he's working on.
Yeah, I would say light purple in the left-hand corner is pretty much a done deal as far as go all the way up over by right in there, the light purple.
Yeah.
Yeah, Oregon too. You can put Oregon in there with those five. I think are freaking states that would.
Arizona. He's going to be in Florida. He's going to be in Georgia. He has almost enough signatures in New York. That's going to be a big deal. But I mean, once he gets here, I mean, he's just look at these light purple ones. The only ones that were kind of
Colorado's in the white.
Look at that.
That's
Yeah,
a swing state lately.
But he's going to be there next week. So he's going to be there campaigning. And what usually happens is when he goes there to campaign, all of a sudden, boom, this turns purple. So all these states that he's going to, he needs to get Jesse Ventura to kind of help him out here in Minnesota here. But a lot of these other states,
Jesse's not the governor there anymore, is he?
No, but he's still got a popular. He's got a
that would be good.
He's pushing weed there, so he's.
It'd be great if he was a governor. That'd already be dark purple.
Yeah, well, I guess like nobody's won Minnesota. The Democrats have won Minnesota for the last 50 or 60 or something years. So, but Trump is doing well there too. So, I mean, you're going to have a lot of close races, even in Florida. But again, the main thing is to look at what does Kennedy need, and that's what this map shows us. What does he need to get on the ballot?
He needs to get his ass over to Alaska. Looks like.
No, he's.
Yeah, but it's not dark purple yet.
No, but light purple is good. Light purple means that he probably it's in progress, and it's probably going to happen. And you look at the actual end date, he needs 36,000, really 37,000 people to sign up. And what's crazy is all of these dark purple states, he's getting double. He's getting nearly double all of the necessary votes. That's including California. That's including Texas. Those are big states there. So he's working his way through all of these different states. And he's already made it clear that he has funding. He's got everything that is needed to get the job done in all of these different states. Now that he's in Jersey, that's just another victory. At the same time that he's doing this, he's suing Meta. He's suing Google. He's suing Facebook right here. So at the same time that he's doing all of this, he's doing something that President Trump, if he didn't have all these cases against him, should be focusing on too, is suing Meta for censorship, suing Google, suing YouTube. They should be suing all of these platforms for censorship, for what they are doing, for just getting these, for posting things.
You know what's
Kennedy's doing
interesting about that map you played? I can't get it out of my head.
Yeah.
Is Alaska looked about the same size as Texas, and
That's pretty
it was
big.
interesting. The map didn't. Yeah, I mean it's larger than like Texas, California, I think Montana combined.
Yeah,
it looks about the same size. It's interesting. Just an
there's
interesting
just
off the off the wall thing. I'm not saying there's a nice wall
and he only
because there isn't.
I mean, look at that. Look, he only needs 3,600 people to sign up to get his name on the ballot there. That's it. What does he need in Florida?
Look at Alaska. Doesn't it look like the same size as Texas though?
Yeah, it does.
But it's
ice.
It's the size of Texas, California, and Montana combined. It's bigger than that.
Right.
So they're not representing it correctly there.
And actually, the New York looks a lot smaller than I thought it would be. You know, it doesn't look too big here.
They're going to call us flat earthers soon.
He only needs 45,000 people in New York.
Oh, yeah, they got Hawaii.
Yeah, he got double HI. He got North Carolina. He got Ohio, Oklahoma. He got Texas, California, Nevada, Utah. I mean, he's got 15 states. And again, we're in May, and he already has a possible 201 here. 201.
That's great news.
Yeah, he only needs 69 more. And he should be on every debate stage. So these are awesome numbers here.
And again, folks, not just here, but on many maps, they lie. Can you pull it up a little bit more?
Yeah.
Just the map so you can see the Alaska again. Yeah.
Alaska. Yep.
Yep. So Alaska right here it's as big as Texas, California, and Montana combined, supposedly. Is it represented that way, though? So here's Texas, California,
Texas, California,
and Montana.
Look at that. Oh.
See so it should be like this big, right? I mean, it should be way bigger.
Yeah.
And it's like that in all maps. It's weird. I've noticed some of these things. Weird things we notice when we're
and it's how they calculate the vote. This is why when you do the whole census thing, this is where they're rigging the system by the census, because the census is going to count the people who are not actually legally here. So if the census is counting people in California that are not supposed to be here, then that means more delegates are going to go to.
We have a bunch in Michigan that our governor,
Michigan. Yeah,
Hitler Ramirez, just decided to bring there too.
Michigan. I mean, he only needed 12,000 vote. 12,000. I keep saying vote. 12,000 people to sign up. And look at the actual end date here. I mean, he is so far ahead of the game, because he knows, getting on the ballot is one thing. Getting people to vote for him.
And how many total states does he need in order to get on the ballot?
Well, he's on the ballot. He's on the ballot in 15 states. In 15 states, including your state and including my state.
But to be considered a threat?
I think it's a threat now. He's got 201 here. Can he win with this 201? No, but if we look at the light purple, those are ones that he is going to be on the ballot on. If you consider the light purple ones, he is going to be a big threat. He's going to be 300, 400 by the end of the summer. He needs to be in all debates. This is a very historical thing that Kennedy is doing. Kennedy has the most votes in Texas, the most signatures in Texas for people that have signed up for him. Kennedy needed 113,000. He got almost double that, almost 250 people to sign up to put him on the ballot. Now, remember, those are 250,000 people in Texas. That means they could not have voted for Biden or for Trump. That's a big, big number. If you go back to Pat,
Yeah, I hope make sure he was freaking put in Michigan. We talked about this.
Yeah,
a couple months ago. And I remember I said, hey, it's happened. You're like, it's happened. Yup.
Yeah, it's done. It was a done deal. It was a done deal. They had 6 months to get this done.
Yeah, and it could be something as simple as just sharing a video or two or sharing some information to get somebody like RFK in the purple, folks.
Yep. And these all these light purple ones, I can almost guarantee these are going to turn dark purple. When they're dark purple, that's it. It's game over. He is on the ballot there. So this is where Trump and Biden are scrambling here, because we may have a scenario where nobody gets to 270. The next president in 2024, you have to get 270 electoral votes. What happens if nobody gets there?
Right.
What happens then? And so
they're gonna have to put their backs to each other and walk 10 paces. Whoever can fire quicker wins.
It's gonna be crazy. I'd be down.
So
for
you're
that.
telling me right now let me see if I understand this correctly.
Yeah.
The purple, he's on the ballot. The dark
purple, he's on the ballot.
So the light purple, he most likely will be on the ballot.
Correct.
And then after that, do all the other states just say, all right, well, he's on, most of the states' ballot.
All those other,
can they still keep him from being on the ballot?
Colorado is trying to, but he actually beat them in a lawsuit. So I think Colorado is going to go from gray to purple. I don't think this is going to hit light purple. This is going to go dark purple soon.
Well, I mean, if you only have 6 states,
yeah, we've got 1.
That don't have on the ballot, would they just automatically put it on the ballot?
7, 8. He's got probably 8 that he hasn't, that the window is not yet open, is what they say.
Interesting, Greg.
So, I mean, he's there. He's right there. And Trump knows this. Trump is a smart dude. Trump knows exactly what is going on. That's why the other week Trump was like, when he was asked about RFK Jr., he's like, I have no idea who RFK Jr. is. Are you kidding me? Of course he knows who RFK Jr. is, but that's what you would want to say. If there was somebody that I didn't want to talk to or didn't want to think about, I'd probably say the same thing too. So Trump knows exactly what he's doing. And Biden, I think, it's not Biden, it's the Biden team. Biden is just going to say, do this, do this, do that. Biden is like that boss that doesn't want to do any work,
right, and
just wants to blame everybody else when things don't get done. And finally, the workers who are doing all the work are going to say, F off, screw you. I did all of this work for you, and you don't appreciate any of this stuff. So I really, and DC is the other key here too, because he's not in DC, but he keeps mentioning that. And Rhode Island, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Tennessee. Now Louisiana is an interesting one here.
Why is DC way the fuck over there?
That's because it's technically not a part of the United States.
Yeah,
as it shouldn't be.
I thought you may mention that, but I digress.
Yeah, 50 states, and DC is its own thing, which is crazy when you think about why are we in DC? Why is the White House there? Why do our presidents go there? It's crazy.
Why are there islands in the Caribbean that are technically U.S.?
Yeah, and
we don't count those.
That's a great point, because
isn't that interesting?
Well, if we look at Trump, if we look at the Republican Party's numbers and we look at the Democrats' numbers, they count the islands. You don't see that here on Kennedy's on Kennedy's map here, he's not looking at those islands here. And
I noticed they were purple.
Yeah, I do wonder why he's not looking at those. So
Well,
I don't know.
yes, and some of them are they're owned by the United States of America. So I mean,
But if we were to look at this same map for the Republican Party or for the Democrat Party, they would have Guam, they would have the Fiji Islands, right? They would have Puerto Rico. Kennedy doesn't have that here, and I've always wondered why he does not have that here. Is he not able to get on those islands, or what is the whole thing there? So the islands will be the next thing that I'll be.
Well, yeah, I mean, the United States, we own like the Virgin Islands, we own them,
and the Virgin Islands. That's another good one.
Well, there's so many. We own a ton of islands in the Caribbean, and
right, but they all have votes. They all have votes in the Republican.
Oh, they do.
Yes,
see, I did not know that.
So in the Republican primaries, the Virgin Islands, Guam, Puerto Rico, they all have votes in the Republican primary, but they don't have votes for an independent. They can't vote for an actual independent candidate. So that's what I need to learn more about. I've asked the Kennedy campaign. I haven't gotten a response about that yet. But that's fascinating to me. But I think Kennedy's like, look, I just need to get on these 50 states, man. Once I get here, we can talk about the islands later. But yeah, once he gets here, they can't say that he's not a viable candidate. They have to recognize. And even at this, I'm like, are you kidding me? He's at 201 in May. He has until August to get on all of these other states here, and they are acting like his number. I mean, even Trump is acting like his numbers are dropping. They're not dropping. Kennedy's numbers are growing constantly. So it's crazy, man. It's craziness.
Greg, man, thanks for having me on.
Thank you, brother.
Get rolling. It's a little later on this side of the hood.
Yeah.
I got something to take you out with, a little laugh if you like.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a liberal guy. Of course I wear the crown every time I go to Burger King. My wife's boyfriend says I'm the king for letting him plow my wife. I'm a liberal guy. Of course I stop traffic to fight climate change. Oil is racist. Stop it. I'm a liberal guy. Of course Beyond Meat is my favorite. I eat so many of these processed goo patties that my testosterone level is now negative 1,000. I'm a liberal guy. Of course I sneeze like a soy boy. Achoo! Achoo! I'm a liberal guy. Of course Black Panther is my favorite movie. This is what Africa would look like if it wasn't for those meanie colonizers. I hate colonialism. I'm a liberal guy. Of course I'm watching the Trump trial live on CNN. Orange man bad. Orange man bad. Orange man bad.
All right, that was awesome. And with that, thank you, everyone. Until next time, remember, Jesus Christ loves you. God bless. We will be back. Thank you for joining me here. We will be back very soon next time. I'm a liberal guy. No, I'm not. No.